Okay, so we're going to do a live resume critique. And partly the purpose of this is so you can see a resume critique is included as part of the Complete Your Amazing Resume course. So I want you to see how thorough and complete it is. I also want you to see my methodology in going through a resume. So what I have here is a real resume from a real person. I have gone through all of the identifying information and made it anonymous, but all of the other information other than contact information, city and state, and the names of some companies, everything else is intact exactly the way it was sent to me. One thing that I will make note of is I don't know you. I haven't seen your resume. I don't know what it looks like, but I can say with about 65% confidence that this resume that we're about to go through looks better than yours. This is actually a good resume. In fact, let me zoom out a little bit so that you can see it. It's well formatted, it's clean, but as we go through, you will see that there are still a lot of things about it that can be improved. So, the first thing is we have contact information above the name. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It uses a good clean font. By the way, I did not change the font. This is the font that was sent to me. So really I see no issues at all with the contact information. If I was going to provide any feedback on it, it would be to find a way to consolidate the contact information so that it could all be on one line instead of two lines. That will take up less space, less real estate on the page, and help to condense the resume down. The biggest flaw that it has, as you saw when I zoomed out, is that it's 2 pages long. I am not an advocate at all of 2-page resumes. Your resume should be 1 page long. So consolidating the contact information down to just one line will help free up one line of space to help us get down to a 1-page resume. Name, again, is perfectly fine. I have no problem with it. It should perhaps be a little bit larger, a little bit more prominent. Probably doesn't need quite as much space above and below, but it's perfectly fine. I have no issue. Objective is the first real problem that I see. Number one, as I mentioned in my course, this objective is completely meaningless. To secure a position that will allow me to utilize and enhance my skills while assisting the organization in accomplishing their mission. Distilling it down to its core meaning, this basically says, I want a job that I'm qualified for and that you're going to train me to be even more qualified for, and I'll help you out with whatever it is that you do. Doesn't really say what kind of a job, what kind of a company, what kind of a position. It's not very discerning at all. It's not a good objective, and rather than rewriting it, I would just eliminate it entirely. I'm not a big fan of objective in the first place, and this will free up considerable space. So I would eliminate the objective entirely. Now we get down to the employment section, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that we can get a better view. We can basically see the whole employment section here. So the biggest problem that I see in the employment section is I see two problems right away. One is that everything is all bullets. There's no narrative, it's just bullets. That's not the worst thing ever, but I prefer to mix it up a little bit. The second thing is, if you look at this alignment, the names of the companies are not aligned. The names of the cities are not aligned. Everything is jagged and kind of all over the place. Third thing that I see is the dates are not formatted consistently. There is a psychology to putting your dates, and I go into it in great depth in the course of what different elements of a date mean and how to present dates most effectively. Reading through the bullets are fine, except they're fine as far as the type of skills and the type of qualifications that they highlight. Their problem is in the way that they're presented. The fourth one is, I don't even know what to call this, coordinates meetings. It isn't really the non-tense, it's more of a directive. Organizing and train all new mentors and volunteers. So here we've got basically we've got a dual verb, but the two verbs are mismatched in terms of their tense. Facilitate mentoring curriculum. I don't know what facilitate mentoring curriculum means. Perform administrative task. Just one task. And actually, if you read the whole thing, perform administrative task for the program director, written and verbal correspondence. That is not a good sentence. It's a fragmented sentence. And by the way, none of these sentences have punctuation. There's no periods at the ends. I don't see any commas. I don't really see anything in these sentences in terms of punctuation. Then we jump to the next job and we have past tense, past tense, past tense. Okay, at least they all agree. Again, total lack of punctuation. Then we jump down to education and we have only one line for education. Community College of Anytown, Behavior, Health, and Human Services. Okay, I suppose this is telling us what the person studied, what their major was. What I don't know is, did they get a degree? Did they get a certificate? I find it hard to believe that this is the person's only education. Have they taken continuing education classes? Have they studied at other places? One line of education doesn't seem like enough, especially for someone who actually does have quite a bit of experience, and it's all relatively related experience. Then we have interest. Well, first of all, interest should be plural because there's more than one interest listed. And then second of all, I see community service, family support, and education. So I take this to mean that this is the area of interest career-wise that this person is pursuing. These are the types of the fields or the types of industries that this person is looking at. So interest in this case is misnamed entirely. I would expect under interests, if it's going to be there, to see, oh, I like the theater, or I like sports, or I like music. By the way, none of those would be appropriate on a resume. They're not good on a resume. And then finally, references upon request. Again, I go into great depth in my course about how and when and where to present references. It's done entirely wrong here, and this line really needs to be removed, and references really needs to be approached in a completely different way.